Raider Nation, stand up. Please stand up. Season's over, but we continue here on the Cover 3 Deep Raiders podcast. Myself, Dwayne Douglas, along with Sean Oahu Raider and Monster Mash Ken. Gentlemen, how you doing today?
Feeling good, man. I'm feeling another mediocre season coming up, so I'm feeling good.
Doing
I
all
get
right,
it.
man.
I
We,
know.
we we know who the defensive coordinator is now. So
And we'll definitely get into that. I definitely want to hit us up on that text line 858-429-9465. Shout out some cities that are listening to the Cover 3D Raider podcast: Columbus, Ohio; Salt Lake City, Utah; West Des Moines, Iowa; Rochester, New York; Laredo, Texas; and Chicago, Illinois are listening to the Cover 3 Raider podcast. I want to shout out to Paul for in Cardiff, one of our listeners, and then also Dr. JMD and Rich the Raider, who are some of our Instagram folks who are listening to the show. Gentlemen,
right
in the opening drive here, I actually, Sean, do you have the poll that you did, the results from that poll we did?
yes, I do. So we had a poll based on, of course, everything's defensive related, but post on one. I chose one free agent that's on our roster that had a pretty significant season on a bad defense, which was linebacker Nicholas Morrow. Um, I just pulled, should we pay him and keep him to retain his services? And it was an outstanding turnout. 88% of Raider Nation said yes.
Good. Well, I mean, I am, I'm bullish on the linebackers for this team. I think in this defense, and we'll talk about the coordinator coming up. I think Keith Morrow, Kwiatkowski, and company could definitely become integral pieces to this defense. We hope, at least. 55% of my folks on Instagram said that Gus Bradley will be able to help the Raiders become a new and improved defensive unit. So we'll see if that actually happens. Let's go right to opening drive here. Opening drive with Gus Bradley becoming the new defensive coordinator of the Las Vegas Raiders. Sean, your initial thoughts on that? I'm sure we'll go around the table and have some opinions about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's exciting to get it out of the way this early in the off season. It could have went on for a little longer. We kind of knew Bradley was the favorite, more or less, because of the previous ties to Gruden and Tampa. He wanted to stay with the 4-3. A lot of the things that check the boxes for Gruden. It's great. It's exciting to have a new defensive coordinator. I believe it is an upgrade. It's an upgrade. Gunther was just tragic. So we have an upgrade, but what is he working with is what we'll probably get into later. But he's taking over a bare bones defense where anyone's expendable in my mind, as long as Gruden signs off on it. You need to build this free agency period and this draft period and this off season. Gus Bradley needs capital. He needs money. He needs picks. He needs trade scenarios. He needs everything on the table because the offense is set as is. I mean, it is. Even if Aguilar leaves, we're still good on offense. We will be able to maintain a top 10 offense, little tweaks in the offensive line, but it's just critical. It's critical for Gruden's tenure. It's critical for the organization. It's critical for the division, which I don't see us winning the division, but you have to make the playoffs next year. There's an extra playoff spot. We didn't sniff it this year. So it's exciting. It's invigorating, but he's the priority chess piece this offseason. So hopefully Gruden and Mayock cater to him and they do the right thing. What do you think, Ken?
Yeah, Hondo called it on our show that Gus Bradley would be coming. I kind of felt it too. And I feel like whenever there's a coordinator position open within the division, any division for that matter, they kind of pick and choose from within the division. It's rare that you see something come from outside of the division. and I don't know if that's good or bad. Obviously they prepare for the same teams within the division, like Kansas City, namely. He'll come and he'll bring in. He knows he'll help the defense by knowing what Herbert's attributes are, what he's good at, what he's not, based off that first year. Denver's just horrible, so who knows? But as far as the linebacking core goes, they brought in I forgot the coordinator's name, but it sounds like he's pretty good. And I do like that they're giving Bradley the range to bring in his own team. It's not being forced on him. Like, who do you want? And that's great, because that means Gruden's going to control the offense like he does. Bradley will do the defense, and I am okay with that. And Sean, I like your point. Nobody's really safe here. I mean, I know that they're with Littleton was the big ticket free agent there, but Kotowski outplayed him, majorly when he was healthy and available on the field. Morrow, I think he might. I don't think they're going to pay him. I would love to see him back, 100%. But I think he's going to explore other options, just unless he's convinced that the Raiders have done enough on defense to maximize his ability. You go and you look at all these, it's the playoffs right now, and all these different Raiders making plays or playing in the postseason, and it's just you can't make it up, So I'm curious to see what he does.
Jihad Ward is in the playoffs.
Carl Joseph scoring touchdowns,
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I think a couple things from a couple things from me on it is
he's looked great.
Yeah, a couple things from me on it was more like you get a guy who another NFL team would actually hire, like this whole hiring thing was going to go through, and you're not going to see anybody hire Paul Guenther. So I mean, they actually get a guy who they're gonna actually hire, and he's developed talent. So he was there when the Legion of Boom started. If you look at the guys who were on that team, they weren't first round, second round picks. Cam Chancellor wasn't that. Richard Sherman wasn't that. KJ Wright, all these guys like that, they weren't that. So he's able to help develop talent. They need some debt talent there. It's a boring pick. So people are going to say, well, they're paying cover three. I know Ted Wynn of the Athletic had a throw up emoji when he said more cover three. Mm-hmm. Play that well, and then play it fast, and then after that point, then you can come off of that with doing some different things defensively, switching it up. But let's just play one thing good, and then at that point we'll move on from there, right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just so messed up on that side of the ball. We just don't know what's going to happen. And
part of his organization.
Every year we hope for the best. We hope for bringing in these great free agents. We get positive, come August. We're flying high, picking 11 wins, 12 wins based off free agents and rookies. But it's getting old, man. That sucks.
I think what I would like to see is return investment kind of be flipped around. You see a Littleton start to emerge and find a better role. You see Crosby and Cleveland. Okay, look, maybe we see that, hey, there is some purpose there. We still need to add interior defensive line. We still need to add front seven best players we can get. But at least you can salvage some of this capital you've already put into building this defense. Hopefully, Mullen looked excited on Twitter about the Bradley hire, and he's the corner, so he knows that he's had the Legion of Boom, and he's worked with elite secondary players like Derwin James and so forth with the Chargers, and he's been around a lot of that, so I'm sure he's rubbed shoulders with these people and knows his reputation. So I think that's a good thing. But it's this offseason's that's the priority, man. And like you said, Ken, I didn't even mention it yet, but assembling his staff, deciding with Gruden, hey, I need this person, I need this assistant coach in my linebacker room, I need this veteran free agent, I need that. He's got to demand things, and since he knows Gruden, hopefully there's some transparency there, where they can just talk like a man and tell him the truth. You want my defense to be top 18, I need XYZ.
Well, one thing that I liked in his presser was he said something about making these players play in positions that they're good at rather than forcing it on them. Like, and I think that's kind of what Marinelli was doing when Gunther left, was putting these players in, making them comfortable. What do you like playing? And I think what was it, Littleton? I think it was Littleton that said something like, "I just do what my coaches tell me to do."
Yeah,
and he was playing so bad. So you got to win the team, and you brought up a good point with Mullen being happy about it, because I feel like he's going to. Mullen's probably one of our best defensive players, if not our best defensive player, and he's going to benefit from that. And then the defensive back coach, was it Millis, or I can't remember. Supposedly he's one of the best defensive back coaches, and that was a huge problem for us.
Yeah.
Whether that was just lack of pass rush, or what, the defensive, the secondary was just god awful.
Yeah.
But then again, so was the pass rush. So I don't know. There's just, like I said, so many issues here. And Gus Bradley is, I feel like, and I know we don't get political here, but I feel like he's like Joe Biden coming in and he's got to fix all the shit that's going on. And he's like, the odds are stacked against him, but he's going to get it done. I am surprised that they moved so fast, and I wish they would have given Wade Phillips an interview, but I guess he made up his mind. So we'll see what. We just gotta hope. That's all we can do, and we've been doing it for 20-something years.
Yeah, I mean,
and he did say.
Go ahead.
Just real quick on the cover 3 thing. I don't think he's gonna overwhelmingly just play. I mean, a lot of now that he's hired, a lot of people are breaking down these tendencies and coverages he's thrown at teams. Cover 3 is his base, but as he spoke in the interview, he will play multiple. Like, every team should have a 3-4 type package and a 4-3 type package. They should have different dime concepts and nickel concepts for third downs. And he's talked about all that he will have those things installed. And I think that's what encourages me the most, is just knowing that he will be able to have some variance. And like Hondo said, and as we all know, like, Gunther did not make changes on the sideline. They would be brought up to him, they would be nudged to him, and he was stubborn about it. And for whatever reason, Gruden had his offense humming, so he just, I'll score touchdowns, you do your best. But that's where his day of reckoning came, and that's why we have Bradley. So hopefully we have a coach that does just enough. I mean, if we want to be in the playoffs, we easily could have been in the playoffs this year if just 2 or 3 games went differently on the defensive side of the ball. So that's all Gruden's looking for in year 1 of Gus Bradley, is just get me start working towards the middle of the pack, start getting me sacks, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean,
one thing
he's go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'll go after you.
I mean, he's bringing in the defensive backs coach, a linebacker coach, well-respected guys. Rod Woodson was on our Radio Nation Radio talking about Hillis today. Just making sure that, he basically said, there are going to be rules in that secondary where we don't give up the big play and we don't give up the seam passes, but we're gonna force them to check it down every time, and eventually they're gonna make a mistake. And that's what that defense is designed to do. You don't want to give up a lot of plays over the top. If you don't give up a lot of plays over the top, you have an opportunity to really to stop some teams. They did do a good job in the first game against KC. Second time they played KC, KC didn't need the game, so they played nobody. So you can't really judge that one. But I mean, they have been a pretty good defensive team under Gus Bradley. And I think this year's team, they had adversity. They didn't have Bosa for a lot of the game. They lost Derwin James. So, it wasn't the full allotment of talent in Los Angeles with the Chargers there, Ken.
No, I agree. I think you brought up a good point with Woods, and also, he knows what he's talking about. Rod does. So that's a good sign off there. I was going to bring up a point that I loved the interview that Bradley did the other day, because it was like a 20-minute interview. He got asked a lot of different questions, and it was a big difference from when we saw Paul Gunther. I would not respect this man, Paul Gunther, if I was a football player. And I think the presence that that he's brought, that Bradley brings, it's going to go a long way because you have to be a leader of men, and these men have high egos, a lot of testosterone. There are a lot of alpha dogs, and I did not get that from Paul Gunther. Just in the interviews, like
you got to talk to players. Like, how do you?
Yeah,
how do you not talk to your players? They're on the field, seeing it.
Yeah, and it was just out of control. It was like a bad dream. And I'll still never understand why Gruden did not pull the trigger, knowing this just it didn't get fixed at all. Like, it was just horrible. I'll never understand it. There was a chance there, and I blame Gruden 100%. We could have been in the playoffs playing Kansas City, the Browns, whoever it was, and it was purely just because Gruden did not pull the trigger, and he waited and waited and waited, and that's shitty, and that sucks for all the fans out there. It sucks for all of us, us three on this podcast right now, all the work that we do, and with 3 games away where the defense just needed to make a one play to stop, we could have been watching the playoffs, and that is all on Gruden for taking that away from us, and it pisses me off.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's under his watch, and he has all the power, so he likes to point the finger and blame COVID and injuries and all these other things. It's under your watch, buddy. So
Ravens had COVID issues. The Bills had COVID issues.
The
Browns had a lot of COVID issues. They won a playoff game without COVID.
First in the league, and they won without a coach. Yeah,
come on with that. I want to get the names right. Ron Millis, defensive back coach, 21 years of experience, and Richard Smith is the linebackers coach who's coming over as well. So, like I said, just having the organization of being able to have, and I think too, a guy who I was against bringing him in. Now I'm for bringing him in. I'm for bringing in Richard Sherman on a 2-year deal. I mean, I feel like him, veteran. Those cornerbacks have seen him play at a high level, seen him play in the Super Bowl, seen him play. He can teach that defense out. I'm not asking him to be the number 1 corner. Just to me, why not? I mean, why not bring in those, bringing somebody better? You have to bring in somebody a veteran anyway. I mean, in this whole makeup what the Raiders have right now anyway.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I think you're tiptoeing a fine line there, because I think Sherman absolutely would be a coach on the field for that secondary and defense. I think absolutely he still can play at a good, solid level, but he just got completely torched by the Chiefs. And if we're trying to win our division, he just doesn't have the speed anymore. So, yeah, he wouldn't be the number 1 or number 2 cornerback. He'd be a part of the package. I'm sure Bradley could use him inside, use him outside. He shouldn't be facing the Keenan Allen every snap. He shouldn't be facing the Tyreek Hill every snap. But he brings accountability, which is something the defense needs. Because even though think of a guy even like Abram, right? So Sherman could look at Abram and be like, I played with players just like you. Like, you need to corral your energy.
Exactly.
You need to calm the beep down.
Yep.
You need to stop trying to get people's heads off their shoulder pads and start learning how to play the game with a professional, aesthetic to how he does things. So I think that'd be good, someone to check somebody, because Abram's loud as hell and Sherman won't back down from nobody.
No.
So that would be interesting, but it's going to come. What do we need? We are in a very bad cap right now. We need cash. Sherman bet on himself. He's still going to cost a pretty coin.
Yeah.
And that's the concern, is how do we want the fancy things? There's going to be sacrificed somewhere. And I'm sure there's going to be a couple surprise things that happen. Free agency comes before the draft. So, we'll kind of see who they're feeling out. And they may sign someone that looks surprising, and then you'll see a player get traded draft day or something.
One thing that I sorry, were you done with your point there? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go ahead.
I do like it. I mean, Sherman is one of the best ever at his position. Does he still have it? I think if you blow past him, that's it. If he can lock you down within that 10-yard line in the press, then yeah, you're good. But you brought up an excellent point, Sean. And it's something that I've been banging the table about is leadership on the field, coaches on the field, a la Charles Woodson. Woodson still had it though. They're gonna need each Kotowski, I think, is probably the closest thing that you have as a leader, and I thought he did an okay job when he was playing and his availability. That's why I like the idea of J.J. Watt coming in. He may only have a couple years left. He gets hurt a lot, but he doesn't have to be that every down lineman. Yeah. I would love to see somebody with experience in the secondary as well, whether that's Sherman or whomever. But I think, you invested 2 almost first-round draft picks within Arnett and Mullen. I know. So you invest in that and you develop them, but you also get somebody that can translate your defense on the field, and that's got to be a field general. Same thing with Abram. You brought up another point. Somebody needs to coach that guy on the. He's a wild animal, and he does make that one good tackle, good play, but it's not winning games. It's not he's not winning games for us. He's not a game changer like Woodson. A name that we kind of forgot about, and it goes back just to the Legion of Boom, is Earl Thomas. Maybe that's a possibility. I don't know.
Bradley ties and Sherman ties.
Yeah. So I would love to see 2 field generals and veteran players. I don't want them to go and get all these old guys. I want just 1 or 2 at each level.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
That's it. Because the salary cap is going to be an issue, Sean, and we can get into that with the offensive side of the ball too. But I just want 2 for 2 years.
I think.
Go ahead, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think that one of the biggest things, I was listening to, just a couple of football podcasts. I thought about that when I was going back to the game where we beat the Bears, and that was the MAC game and overseas.
Yep.
And
London,
the guy made the point that the biggest thing people miss about football is being strong up the middle on the defensive line, linebacker, and at safety. Especially defensive line, like Aaron Donald getting, pressure up the middle in the quarterback's face is even more, as good as Mac is, even more effective, because Mac, you can chip. You can, if the QB sits up in the pocket, you can roll out. You can negate that pass rush, because and once you the edge rushers, you can make it almost like a 7-on-7 drill. If you have the tackle, and that game, Trent Brown played great against Khalil. So, to me, like that, the inside out first round pick for Grady Jarrett, they need somebody, defensive tackle up the middle. That's where it starts. And he talked about that. So I know that, people like Trent Brown, anybody who's fringe is going to be, probably out the door. Because they desperately need to get pass rushers up the middle, especially Leonard Williams. Hey, you want that first round pick? You tell Leonard, hey, we'll sign you. We'll come here, sign you. You want to be a Raider on draft day? Let's go. Stuff like that. Go ahead, Ken.
Yeah.
Or Sean, whoever was going next.
No. Leonard Williams. That's a name that's been thrown around. He's here with the Giants. Yeah, and I think that's you just like him because he's in USC.
Fight on.
I agree with you though, because I liked him coming out of USC as well, and he's been that pretty consistent player. I don't think he's like a game changer like Aaron Donald.
He was this year though. He was this year.
He was. He came into, but the Giants have. I mean, obviously the record doesn't speak for it, but they had a really good defense. I think it kept them in the games if you go back and watch some of these games. So they had a really good defense. That's just one thing that we're missing on that is somebody that's a game changer on defense. And obviously Mac was that guy. It just makes everybody better. And I just hate throwing money and I hate picking on Corey Littleton here, because I think he does have the potential to be better than what he is.
What you saw last year,
high hopes. Yeah, you throw all this money and you need to get your return, like you brought up in the beginning. Get your return back, because it wasn't there. And I don't know if that was a Gunther thing or what, but he said in his exit interview, like, he did not play to his expectations. So I'm looking for a big rebound. I know it's early in the offseason. It's not even offseason yet technically, but I want to see him just emerge, because you're getting paid that much money. I don't think he's a bust. I think he's a really good player. And it's just
I agree.
Coaching. So get the big return.
I agree.
Sign.
Yep.
I think the big thing about that, with a player like Littleton is Dwayne hit on it again. Again, you need movers in the interior up front.
You have to have
Like
it.
Littleton played behind Aaron Donald, and they had other great pass rushers.
Michael Brockers,
For a quick linebacker like him, for a quick linebacker like him to not be second level touched all the time like he was this year, to see lanes that he can actually shoot through athletically and make a play, opens up his game. But we didn't have that, and I'm sick of people saying, "Oh, Hankins is a highly PFF rated." And I'm sorry, he's a depth player on any other team in this league. So I'm sick of hearing that. So
he's a third DT on a good team.
And that's why I don't understand. People think like he's so amazing. They're like, "Oh, he's one of the best run stuffers in the league." Yeah, well, how's our defense? But, I think that's the key for Littleton, is freeing him up so he can just play fast, because that's what he's best at. He's a lightweight linebacker that's very athletic and can run sideline to sideline. We need to address the interior part of that defense and then work outward for everything to work. It is just, we didn't even say LaMarcus Joyner's name because there's not much to say about it, but he's got a big contract too. Bradley's coached really good secondaries. He's going to get a quick look at Joyner and decide Gruden, or
exactly.
They got to make it. Because you can't have Joyner paid what he is, Abram a first round pick,
Kowski,
Arnett a first round pick, and Mullen a second round pick. Those are 4 players in your secondary, and yeah, Mullen's had moments, but the rest, you just need Bradley needs. He has a very tough job. He accepted a tough job, so that says something about him, that he believes in it potentially. So hopefully that's positive.
Yeah, of course, no question about it. We'll roll over to the second quarter now. We got some really good reaction from the Hondo Carpenter interview from a lot of people. So some people, whether you agree with him or disagree with him, he had that back and forth in a respectful way. So, and I definitely want to kind of unwrap some of the things he said in that interview. What are your thoughts about Hall of Fame Coach Gruden?
I'll let Sean take that one because he's.
Let me go first. Let me go first. Yeah. So here's my thing. So he has that one ring, but they would have to go on a Green Bay Packer, Pittsburgh Steeler, Kansas City Chief, New England Patriot, just like a good 5-6 year run here, where they'd be in the playoffs, have to get a chip, and then be close to other chips for me to even consider that. But I know Sean has more to say. I'm being kind. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm being gracious in my own right, that people have different opinions all across the board. I'm right, I'm wrong. But I just because I'm a fan, or just because someone has a blue check, or someone's a journalist, or someone's a this or that, it's all across the board. Everyone, reserves their entitlement to their opinions. To me, it just blows my mind, because this is the only coach that had 3 consecutive losing seasons that he's not lost his job. He's not in near point of losing his job. He's a sub 500 coach in his career. Let's think about that. He hijacked the Super Bowl from Tampa by going to a defensive 5 hollow jacket already stitched on their damn jerseys. What did he do that ever was great? The best thing he ever did was assemble that team with Al Davis, with Gannon, and getting in Jerry Rice and Charlie Garner and Bill Romanowski, and getting something out of weird astray veterans. But no, I think Gruden's far from it. We've talked all season about letdowns in the red zone, strange play calling, mismanagements of timeouts. He's lost games to coaches that have been fired, but he still has his. So I like Hondo's energy. I called it potent positivity. I was like, wow, you're selling me that this team is. I get the offense. The offense, yeah, good, but we're not. Gruden, we can't talk about a Hall of Fame coach until we can get in the damn playoffs.
Yeah.
So frustrating, but I think he makes good points. He has mounted a great offense. We do have a top 10, 7 offense in the league. That's something to be proud of. Hang your hat on that. But Gruden's responsible for the defense. We can't talk about Paul Gunther wasn't doing this on the sideline, wasn't doing that. Guess what? The head coach should go to him and say, hey, Paul, what the fuck are you doing? I have 30 points on the board and you can't get a damn stop, open your mind up. So we'll see. The dream since we're stuck with it, the dream is I hope Gruden's a Hall of Fame coach because that means he's
means good
win
things.
2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So that's my hope. But assumption is failure. I've learned that in life in a lot of ways. So I'm not going to just assume Gruden's going to do that. So it was a great interview, though. I love having Hondo on. Hopefully, have him again. But he had a lot of good intel inside the organization. But
he's that. Yeah, he's that guy that I like Hondo obviously a lot. I follow him, and I'm a positive guy myself, and I'm obviously glasses half full, not half empty. I think he's a guy that's glasses overflowing. You pour, it's coming out with positivity. So I don't think that Gruden is a Hall of Fame coach. Maybe he's a Hall of Fame, and I don't know. I mean, maybe there's potential there, but if you go back and you look at the last season, I think Gruden lost more games than Carr lost. You know what I mean? So
I mean, there's times where just be aggressive. You have a bad defense, so adjust and just try to score every time down there. Like why are we like I didn't want Carlson to break Janikowski's record. I want to go for it when we're in the red zone and we're down 2 scores. Like, why don't kick a field goal? You got to go for it. You got to go for it. And you can't roll right looking for Jason Witten. Like, you can't.
Yeah, that's troubling right there.
You can't.
It really is.
Jason Witten.
That was astounding because you knew the offense was good. So, of course, Carlson's obtaining a lot of PATs and extra points. And I believe he was 33 of 35.
Yeah, I'm on PATs.
Field goal. Sensational, but you're just looking at it. And I remember in the press of the offseason, Gruden said multiple times, we need to get better in the red zone and in goal-to-goal situations. Now, in goal-to-goal, they did much better than the previous year, of course, but there still was times where the aggressiveness just died. And Witten, for whatever he is and whatever he does, this is Gruden's stubbornness. When you're inside the 20-yard line, unless you're running the ball, Witten should be on the sideline. Moreau is talented. He's elusive. He can high point a ball. He's not 40 years old. Like those are the moments where I just cramp my head. I'm like, does he not see it? Does anyone on the sideline not see it? Does Greg
anybody have the courage
in there that's like
the courage to tell him?
Yeah. Think about being the tight end coach. What would you do? Did you hey, can we get
He's Moreau, a good one too.
Realizing the play call is a pass, wouldn't you be like, hey, I got to sub package Moreau in for these plays. The Witten, these are passing situations. Doesn't happen, but the field goals were just intensely it was just sad. It was almost like we did the right things in between the 20s, and then we'd get down there and the playbook changed. Like it just changed to disaster.
Didn't we
just
go ahead,
taking advantage?
No, I just you brought. I mean, you have guys like Moreau, you have Renfro, even Alec Ingold, and these guys that can, even Zay Jones, and Brian Edwards. You have
Waller,
Waller. I mean, obviously Waller should be your number one on every single play, let alone the end zone. And there were some great, red zone passes, like really sharp, crisp, fast zips to Waller. Like, why didn't you not just stick with that? I don't understand. It's not like anybody's going to stop him. So it was bizarre, and I don't know if it was just something where, we're saying why wasn't anybody challenging Gruden in the red zone? Maybe, and I'm just assuming here, I don't know, spitballing, but maybe Witten was the one that told Coach, I want the ball.
See, now that's funny you say that, because I'm thinking now, this is like something Gruden said over the offseason. Now, I mean, Carr's the leader. He's the captain. But he said he wanted his leadership on the offensive side of the ball, Witten. So I'm thinking, are you not saying Carr's a good enough leader? Like, you're not a good enough? Like, I get you need a leader, but the leader can coach from the sideline and help develop Moreau. He shouldn't be stealing from him. Like, his leadership is something that's mental, is something that's, cohesiveness and, part of the team, not part of him. Like, Witten should not be showcased. So, it's just one measure of one thing, and it's just scary because, like, at this rate I see it, Witten will be back. Like, you can't.
There's no way. You can't waste salary cap dollars on that. You can't. I'm gonna flip.
But
they did for one year.
Do it again.
I do it again. And I do it again.
$4 million.
It's troubling. It really is.
That's sick, dude. That is
and they're
sick.
on the edge of the playoffs. They almost made it. Look how old Gruden's team was back his first stunt with the.
Could you
He had people, Don Perea and Bill Romanowski, and those guys were ancient. They were on the back end of their careers. So,
and
I'm concerned.
It sucks because Moreau. This is what is his third year next year. And then fourth year and then he's done. Then what are you going to do? You're wasting this guy's youth and his talent, unless his injury was more than what we knew about. But it didn't look like it when because he had some pretty plays there, some pretty catches. So yes. I just don't understand that at all.
5 touchdowns as a rookie.
Yeah, that was 7, one of being injured too.
7 of
yeah, that's crazy. And I just that's probably the thing that frustrated me the most. Other than some of the play calling in the red zone, just the utilization of Moreau this year. That is definitely like number 2 or 3 on my list. Why did they go over to Witten and not Moreau? I mean, if Waller's being double, triple teamed,
or bracket coverage makes sense. Yeah, and you mentioned sorry, cut you off, Ken. Sean, you mentioned about high pointing the ball. He was great at low pointing the ball. Like even there are times where the ball has to be it's a really tight window and the ball has to be low because the defender where the linebacker is, where the safety is, and he was great at low pointing the ball in the end zone too. So, God, that was a nightmare. And if he comes back, boy, I'm gonna flip. I'm not gonna be able to.
If it's something like if they're not paying him like a huge, I mean, I don't know. I just don't want them to use him.
Even Carrier is a more athletic. I liked as a pass catching, third option at tight end. He was a guy who you could use in red zone situations as well. That's painful. That was painful. Absolutely painful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No more Witten talk. I'm heated.
I get heated about it too. Foster's my guy. Like that's a jersey I'm gonna get. It's Foster Moreau. So you already know.
Well, he'll be gone in 2 years. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Derek Carr for Wahoo Raider there.
We'll see. The third quarter. We never did a season in review. So let's just, obviously huge disappointment for them as well. I think the thing that I really hated about the season was I don't want to hear from, Vincent Bonsignor and all these other guys about how the coaches thought, hey, this is going to be a tough year for the defense with no offseason. I just I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about how disorganized and idiotic Paul Gunther was. I don't want to hear about that because when you hit the bye, you should have fired him. You should have fired him. My thing was the guy who is rocking and rolling with that $100 million contract didn't make the adjustments needed because he had, even as bad as a defensive team as this was, what they got blown out one time, and maybe Buccaneers and the Falcons. That was it. They were in every game. They had opportunity to win every game. You got to get it done. I mean, and that's on Gruden.
100%. There's no excuse. It's the buck stops with him. You getting paid that crazy contract. There's no excuse. All these other teams, I hate to compare them to the Chiefs, but there's no excuse for them. They're winning. They're doing what they got to do.
We beat all these playoff teams. Like what?
Yep.
We sit home watching it. That's hard to watch. Hard to
Browns,
take. Chiefs, Saints.
It's frustrating. It's really frustrating.
I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think how everything lent itself is everyone had a challenge this season. So let's just say that's 32 NFL teams. That's 32, rosters and coaching staffs and families impacted on and off in the field. Everyone went through it. That is exactly what it is. It's a blatant, sad excuse. We traded away Khalil Mack to get these picks. We traded away Amari Cooper. We traded away Conley. We traded away all these hype, and we need a return. Like Gruden did all that. He has to show something for it. A top 7 offense is a start. An 8-8 record is not good enough. So my season review really, I think the only difference for me is I thought the defense would have started moving towards the middle of the pack with the Kwiatkowski, Littleton signings and Arnett and the draft. I was like, okay, well, this should start helping it. Gruden was kind of hogging the money for the offense and prioritizing who he wanted. So I kind of felt a little, okay, maybe Gunther has a point. But now it's about, flipping the script on that side of the ball. So my season review is 8-8 was underwhelming. I really thought they should have cracked, even if it was just 9-7 and they didn't make the playoffs. They really need to have a positive in the win column. But year 4, here we go.
I think that you go back and I think the Raiders main page, they just released the top 10 plays, and the offense was humming. Man, this offense looked unstoppable at times, like a juggernaut, top 2, top 3 offense. And there's, other than Waller, there's not really a superstar on that team.
Yeah.
But they're scoring 30 plus points a game. And I did remember the comment I wanted to make, and it kind of ties into this. Gus Bradley said something during his interview that he wanted to give the offense more opportunities by getting takeaways. And imagine if the offense would have gotten 2 or 3 more opportunities or punts or whatever, because there'd be some games where the other team would just score at will. Yeah. So if we had more opportunities there, this offense could have been even more potent. So on that front, I think Gruden has outperformed up until, was it the week 9 when they were 6-3, whatever that was, up until the Kansas City game. I think the Kansas City game, right? Then it kind of trickled off a little bit. Maybe there was frustration. I don't know what it was, but it was a really exciting offense to watch. I don't think Jacobs was stellar. He was a Pro Bowler, but I think he kind of fell off a little bit than last year. I don't know what the story is there. Still one of my favorite players. I know, Dwayne, you're banging the table about taking a running back in the first round. But
I wanted Montez Sweat.
Yeah, I wanted Metcalf, but it is what it is. But the defense, what else can we say that we haven't said already? It was just awful, and it went on way too long. People saw this like, what do we have? Carolina, then New Orleans. I think the 3rd or 4th game, like, okay, nothing's changed on this defense. And people like us on Twitter who have a couple of thousand followers, whatever it is, can call this and say that needs to change, and it never changed. So I'm not going to beat a dead horse here. That is just what frustrates the hell out of me. It really does.
I don't want to excuse the offense. I think it's like 70-30 in the favor of the defense as far as how the season go, maybe 80-20. Either however you want to do it. Right. To me, the defensive side of the ball is like, it was an issue. I thought offensively, you saw during the regular season, you did see some teams who are high scoring teams score less. So the Raiders did score less, and they kind of did have some struggles in the red zone towards the end of the season. That could be play calling, that could be not being able to run the football like he wants to, whatever you say there. But it was just, like I said, absolutely underwhelming, frustrating. You're pulling your hair out if I had any, like Gus Bradley. He and I are part of that ball club, so. But besides that, that was a very difficult season to go through. I thought that Sean's little streak of picking games was going to take us all the way to the playoffs.
Yeah. Let's blame Sean. I like it.
I'm not blaming Sean.
Oh man, it was fun while it
lasted. It was good. All right, 4th quarter now. I just wanted to get this out of the way real quick, because I don't know why this is. Why is Raider Nation sweating Allen Robinson like that? Like, what's going on with that? I listen. Like, understand. Just like ESPN produced this 30 for 30 with Al Davis for ratings to use Raider Nation, because they know that we're going to show up and watch that thing. Just like we were the highest rated Monday night game in 5 years with the way we played the Saints. He's using using the Raiders. He could like Gus Bradley, hey coach, all the stuff like that for negotiating with another team. Like, let's be real in Raider Nation, please.
Yeah, if you're going to do that, and maybe we can kind of dip into the free agents that we're potentially walk. you just go with Nelly. Like, I don't understand why, you would. Who's going to demand more money? Probably Robinson, I would imagine. I mean, he's a.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would
He's
just stick
Keenan
with
Allen.
Nelly.
He's Keenan Allen's level.
Yeah, I would stick with Nelly. I mean, I would love to have Allen Robinson at the. It's not my money, I don't care what they spend on, but I don't want it to hurt our chances of getting a better defensive player. I think that the marquee is you take the best two defensive players you can if you have that kind of money, because that's the kind of money Allen Robinson's going to demand. Find a way to re-sign Nelly. He came through this year, man. I mean, I will be the first one to say that I didn't think he was going to make this roster. I think Dwayne, you might have shut me down on that. I don't remember way back when, but I didn't think he was going to make the roster. I really didn't.
It was Vic Tafer I listened to Vic Tafer, and Vic Tafer said that he had a great camp, and last time he said that, it was Crabtree. So I figured he'd make the team.
Chemistry's there. I don't think he was unhappy. I mean, you look at what happened in Philly; they let him go, and he's gonna. If he doesn't sign with us, he's gonna sign with somewhere big and make a lot of money. But I'd love to see him back in the silver and black, and get Brian Edwards going. Get Ruggs going. I'm going back and I was watching some of Ruggs' highlights. Ruggs can play, man. We just got to get him the ball. That's it. That dude can play. That guy can. He's got to work on some, his footwork. He lost a couple touchdowns, a couple crucial catches by wherever his feet were landing. That's fixable. He dropped maybe a couple questionable passes there, whether it's gone far or him, I don't know.
Gotta stop fumbling.
Yeah, stop fumbling. But this guy is going to be a player. I don't think he's a number one in any way, but I do think he's going to be a huge addition. So you look at those guys, and Renfro's going to be Renfro. He's the man. And then you got Waller. You keep this unit intact because it was not the problem at all. Just the red zone. So keep the unit intact.
I mean, Allen Robinson is
beast,
ultra talented. He's a mega star wide receiver. I mean, look what he's done with the quarterbacks he's played with. Carr would probably be his best quarterback he's ever caught passes from. So, the issue with that is you spent a first rounder on Ruggs. You got any wide receiver you want in the draft, and then at the top of the third, you went wide receiver again. You cannot go out and shell out superstar money for a wide receiver when the offense is already doing its thing. So I agree. And what I read from Hondo just today on Twitter, he heard from people associated that about a 2-year, $15 million contract would be what the Raiders would want for Aguilar, which
how
is
much?
7.5 per 2-year, $15 million around there. So that's about 7.5. I don't know, plus guarantees. I don't know, but that's what he said he ranged it as. He wasn't guaranteeing it. So when I said that makes sense to me. Okay. That makes sense. You keep a guy that's already proven himself, that's worked well as a spark downfield, and you're just banking on that Ruggs and Edwards now get their full off season, whatever, and they start to pick up their roles. Okay. Now, who I want to see gone, Zay Jones. Sorry. That's upgrade in the fourth.
Hey guys, I got
fifth round of the draft.
I got the whole list of everybody who's a free agent. I can go through it, and you guys tell me who you want gone or stay.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So let's rock and roll. So Kendall Vickers.
Who? No, he was all right.
He was all right.
A depth player.
Depth player.
He's a depth player. Yeah.
Dallin Levitt.
Gone.
Daniel Carlson.
Keep.
Dom is lurking.
Unless Dom the bum.
You know what? Carlson's proved himself. I think Carlson's proven himself.
Okay.
He had a great year.
One of the kicks he missed was one of those kicks that he missed was in Cleveland, where it looked like it was going and the women took it away. So technically, I think he missed one kick this year.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Chris Smith
and an extra point.
Chris Smith.
Gone.
Chris Smith. Gone. Vic Beasley.
Gone.
I say keep.
Okay. I say cut if he doesn't make the team in camp, because any pass rusher, whoever has any ability whatsoever, I gotta keep at this point with the Raiders. Daryl Worley, our favorite. Daryl Worley, our favorite.
Gone.
Theo Riddick.
Gone.
Yeah, gone.
Peterman.
Gone. He should have been gone last year.
Gone.
I will never understand how he's.
They'll keep Mariota, right? Or you think they'll keep Mariota?
Yeah, because what Hondo said, he said they wanted to get him healthy, and he's healthy, and he looked good in his one outing. So if he's healthy throughout this entire offseason, Peterman's practice, he's gone.
Draft a quarterback or get somebody that's just a third string.
I don't think they'll draft.
Nick,
I think they'll stick 2 quarterbacks.
Nick O'Leary.
Gone.
Devontae Booker.
Gone.
That's a questionable one. It depends on what they do, who's available. If they can upgrade.
They can upgrade that position. Yeah, they can upgrade that. Nelson Aguilar.
Keep.
You got to keep him. Kyle Wilbur, special teams.
He was good, actually. Yeah, I think he's one of their solid special teams.
You can find somebody.
Yeah.
You can find somebody for that.
If he's a special teams ace, I get it. But if Javin White can do what he can do,
Tanner Muse.
Tanner Muse. I forgot who that was. Sam Young.
Oh God.
Please. Back to Wu-Tang. Raekwon the Chef. Raekwon McMillan. Wu-Tang forever.
It's another depth player. I think he played pretty well that last game, though. So I think you got to keep him.
Zay Jones only played 26% of the snaps. So I can't. Because this site gives you the overthecap.com gives you the snap usage as well. Derek Carrier.
Same thing, man. It's just another depth.
Get rid of Witten.
Yes. There you go. There you go. I like that. I like the mix of that one, Sean. I like that one.
And you get better. Surprisingly, you get better when you do that.
Elvis Patterson. No, I mean Nevin Lawson.
Oh God. Please.
Please go. Eric Harris. Eric
Harris.
Well, he has to go. I mean, he had that video where he was playing End of the Road from Boys to Men. He's
gone. I think he's gone.
So we go Tack McKinley.
I think you keep him. You
invested in him. He's not going anywhere. He's 26 years old. Could rush the passer. So you gotta keep him. Malik Collins.
Gone. That was a bust. Come on, cut your losses.
One and done.
He had a C on that jersey too. Wow.
Yeah, that was the worst. Tough. That was the worst free agent signing in my opinion. Especially how he was built up. Oh, the defense would be central. That sums it up. If the defense was going to be focused through him and how bad he played, that's how bad our defense was. So yeah, Gruden, you were right. It was the focal point of the defense because it sucked.
Jonathan Hankins.
I like him. I say keep him.
Up to Bradley.
Up to Bradley on that one. I agree on that one. Yeah. Jason Witten. He played 37% of the snaps. Doesn't it seem like he played more?
Getting the boo. Of course it does.
It was so painful.
Let him retire a Cowboy. Just come back to Jerry Land.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's just say a question for you guys. Just let's say, what's his name? I can't forget his name now. Nelson Aguilar walks. Who would be a guy who you would replace him with? Like I got the free agent list of wide receivers. You got AJ Green. Yeah, AJ Green. You got Allen Robinson.
No.
T.Y. Hilton. Sammy Watkins.
I like T.Y.
I think T.Y. or Sammy
would be not that bad. I'm looking at Marvin Jones. I think Marvin Jones wants big money though. So Marvin Jones.
Oh yeah.
Brashard Perryman. Corey Davis. No way Corey Davis leaves the Titans. They'll sign him. That's silly. And I think the last one who was notable, I don't think there's any more on here. So out of those, what about Juju Smith-Schuster?
I would be okay with that. I would be okay with that.
I'm so good.
No, thank you.
Personality-wise, he needs to be checked.
You need man, he needs people to get him open.
Gruden's not going to tolerate that shit, so it's not going to happen.
Don't say that. If Gruden could tolerate Paul Guenther, then he can tolerate.
Hey, he was tolerating AB. AB was on. You're one of the best players. Remember the phone call?
Yeah.
Remember the phone call? Yeah, so,
He likes those crazy
But hopefully
players.
he learned from that,
But
right?
but to recap, I think
no more Steelers, no more Steeler wide receivers, please.
the best option is Aguilar off that list, and hands down, I think it's Aguilar.
I would say so.
And
And
then
he's in the building. He's in the fit. He's already lives in Vegas. He's got no state tax. I mean, there's too many pluses. He's got the best role he's had in his career.
I mean, unless he
They're
gets
close.
bank, if somebody offers him bank, shit, take the money, man, and
Oh,
take
and
the
give
run.
him-
Yeah.
I mean, he had. I mean, Aguilar. Like, I mean,
balled out, man.
the
800
yards per. I mean, he had almost 1,000 yards on 48 on 48 touch it. I mean,
It's like
that's a lot of
18 yards a catch or
Jesus.
something like that. And 18 yards a catch. Yeah, something crazy like that.
Deshaun Jackson, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Big plays.
The capper, the capper was the one against the Dolphins because that was just. I'm like, that was just sick.
Silly.
That was sick. That was unbelievable. Get these playoff games. We're not a part of it, of course. Any picks for these games?
I'm the biggest Browns fan there is this weekend, man. I'll tell you what. I'm Baker Mayfield all the way this weekend. I don't care about any other team. I just do not want to see Kansas City or Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that right now.
Could you imagine? Oh,
I don't have a strong indicator on anything that's going on, but I've said it a million times. I got family in Ohio, and like my texts and emails are going crazy. They're so happy. They're like
they should
they're
be
like
that
pumped.
game was
And they-
Get
that
greedy.
game was crazy.
Get greedy.
So-
Do it again. Get greedy. Do it again.
Yeah.
Get greedy.
Yep,
do it again.
yep.
Yeah,
Go Browns.
Yeah, go
Dog
Browns as far as
pound.
that one. No question about that.
I did call in the beginning of the season on the ECN for the Baltimore Ravens against New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl. So my teams are still alive.
I got a feeling. I something tells me the one thing. I do got a feeling about the Ravens. I just think after he got that first playoff win, Lamar Jackson. I kind of think, and it's gonna be snowing in Buffalo. That should be an interesting game to watch.
That's gonna be a fun game, man. That's gonna be a fun game
to watch. The Bills and the Browns are the teams that would be nice to see in the championship game as far as that goes. Anything else from the nation? Ken or Sean?
Did we have a question from last week? Somebody challenged us on the defense or something like that.
Oh yeah, well, our friend Rich the Raider. I love Rich the Raider. That's my dog. So for me, as far as like blaming the defense, I'll just put it this way: like, I know I'm a Carr fan, and I'm a Carr fan until he's not on the team anymore. But like, I watch the games and I know what he can do, what he's great at, what he's not great at. But this year, he didn't have the perfect offensive line, the Fab Five. If like Gruden has to name everything, so he didn't have the 5-5 up front. Didn't have a great running game. Had Waller. Didn't have a great wide receiving core because injuries or whatever. Who knows? But Aguilar played well. They moved the football. They scored points. They were in every game, but besides a couple of them, I mean, they moved the football. He threw the football. He wasn't checked down Charlie. He threw the football down the field. Waller should have been all pro, off of that as well. I mean, to me, it just makes more sense to look at historically. I mean, they missed more tackles than any team in football by a lot. By a wide margin. Like they missed more tackles. They were like even when they got stops in games, like that. Me as a coach, I'd have been like, okay, that's an illusion. That's not real. They don't really have it together over there. Let me just keep scoring and do what I do and do what I gotta do. But they were a mess, and to that, to whatever. I mean, I watch football, and I take the emotion out of it. Like I don't really cheer. The only time I got upset was when I think I talked about it in the podcast where Mahomes made a third and 10, a 4th and 2, and you knew they were going to go for it in the game against Kansas City. So I was like, damn, they're going to go for it and score on this drive. But besides that, I mean, I just look at what I see, and I just see a team that 3 people. Like when there was a guy who scouted the Raiders who said you have half the team playing cover 3, half the team playing cover 2 on one play. Like you can't get worse than that. You cannot get worse than that. Like, it's embarrassing how bad they were defensively.
Yeah, I'm going to say it like this and just sum it up real quick. We are 3 stops away on the defense, 3 different games from being in the playoffs. And if you're going to tell me that I can't blame the defense for having the playoffs, it wasn't Carr. I can tell you that right now. I think Carr lost the only game I can think of fair is the Atlanta game. That's it. That's the only game I'm putting on Carr, and not just on Carr, but the entire team and Gruden. But I'm not a Carr homer or anything like that. I like Carr because he's a Raider quarterback right now, and I think he's improved each year. He's improved. This year, we wanted him to use his feet more. He did. He wanted to throw the long ball. He did. He had some really good games.
Playoff teams.
However, he did turn over the ball.
He did.
He played wire to wire. He kept us in the games, and he came back and he did fourth quarter comebacks again. However,
came back in a meaningless game too at the end of the year too. So.
Yeah, fumbles. We got to control that because I know he didn't throw a lot of interceptions, but they still gave turnovers.
Very true.
This is completely on the defense this year. Why we are not in the playoffs. I will gladly debate anybody on that. If they want to call the number up, bring them on the show. Because if you can convince me otherwise that the rules were not good because of anything else but the defense, then you're on drugs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's hard. 17 turnovers. He was 4th in the NFL in turnovers, so it's not like, but were those turnovers in positions of time when the game was in hand? Like 2 of them were the fumbles. What was that? The Patriots, the Buffalo game. I mean, like they're scattered about. They didn't feel like it was a problem because the offense was humming. I just think it comes down to the defense, but game management. Some of those games could have done a little bit better with deciding to run the ball or do things situationally different. Scoring with the leads. It seems like once we got the lead in some of those games we ended up losing, we weren't as aggressive. We were so good on 4th down. Our offense on 4th down.
I was surprised about that.
In the league.
I was surprised at that.
And so for me, it's just about little tweaks on offense, which I think you'll play better and differently when you understand you have a better defense. So hopefully that's the goal. My ask is Mariota.
Please, God.
Just a few, just a handful, not even like he could go 3 games without a carry. I don't care. But there's going to be games where it's like, because Josh Jacobs thrives off the read option because you're freezing the defense for him. So he's going to see better run lanes, and Mariota can just scamper outside for 30 yards like nothing. Or you goal-to-goal situations or some of those things. Just show me a little more creativity. Find a way where maybe line up Ruggs in the backfield sometimes and then motion them out. Like find ways to find matchups for your better players. Waller, everyone knows Waller's the key to this offense. So guess what? Defenses now, it's no surprise anymore. So they're going to start shedding better defensive coverage towards him. So Gruden has to continually develop plays. Bryan Edwards can line up at a tight end slot and then peel out at wide receiver. You can do different things. So I just want to see those. But overall, I was impressed. Overall, Carr's body work this year. He lived up to a lot of things. But, now it's the next step, and the defense is going to get us there.
Yeah. And that's
all I got, man.
Yeah, I'll leave it on this. The Rams played the Seahawks. Goff played against Russell Wilson. The Rams won.
Hurt Goff.
Is Goff a better quarterback than Russell Wilson? Hell no. No. But they have not. Do you know that the Rams have not given up I think I texted you. They did not give up a touchdown for over 20 in the passing yards, 20 yards all year. All year. Crazy. I mean, that's how good they were defensively. So you got to build that defense to be at least decent, man. Otherwise, you're gonna.
They got the best shutdown corner since. Champ Bailey, maybe. I don't know.
I've been. They should have traded. Give up the first round pick. He's worth it. All right.
Yeah.
He's worth it. Raider Nation, thank you for listening to the Cover 3D Raider podcast, guys. Again, great show. See you next time.
Peace out, Raider Nation.